Are you passionate in the field of acting and want to hone your skills to appeal to a wide range of professional directors in your local area? Have you always wanted to pursue a career in the field of acting and wonder where to begin? Like many actors, it is tough to find a place where like minds can meet to network and grow within their own community. However, located in 100 Park Avenue, Suites 1 and 2, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, the Actor Co-op for the Collectively Creative have heard the calls of those who want to evolve and master those skills within the arts. With a vast range of diverse and creative classes, the Actors Co-op professionals strive to improve the knowledge and confidence of all comers who would like to improve themselves in the arts. Here at Actors Co-op, we have an 8-week course for all students. They will learn the proper stage skills such as monologuing, scene work, and auditioning etiquette. Actors Co-op, collectively creative at creating.
Welcome back again, everyday people. This is Mr. G, and I have the returning guest again. Once again, the madman himself, Mr. Lloyd Booker. How's it going, Lloyd?
I feel fine.
You feel fine? That's good. How's the summer been treating you?
It's been a whirlwind, and come to think of it, yeah, the summer technically now the summer is over. Yeah, it's really weird. It went by
September.
Blank. Yeah, we had. Earlier in the summer, we had the premiere for Ageless Love and doing a couple of the projects, and now also just was looking at my phone doing some other stuff that is actually coming up for September and October. So
you got to play full coming up.
It's been a lot of work.
That's
good. Good work. I'm not complaining, but it's been a lot of work.
It's crazy because I've been with you for the most of the part of this journey and everything.
Yeah. You've been involved in a lot of this stuff too with Gary Cobb, Maxwell Kane, and all of those guys doing stuff. So you got your own thing, but also along with this stuff.
Yeah. So let's go from the beginning, from the journey we had this summer. So in the beginning of the summer, we had the pleasure of going to a prestigious school in Philadelphia, located in Philadelphia, PA, where we met the head of the faculty, Principal Ms. Veronica Joyner.
Teaching in the Philadelphia Public School for 10 years, I saw a lot of things that I didn't agree with and felt that I could do it better. And opening my own school was the first step in doing that, and it's been 21 years. I provided diplomas to hundreds and hundreds of students over that time. College, we have a 100% graduation rate, and we've had the highest in our cohort for 8 consecutive years. And that's a report that's distributed by the School District of Philadelphia, who in fact are our overseers.
Yeah, and they're right across the street, aren't they?
Yes, they're our neighbors. We were here first, and then they moved in across the street. And I've often said that God placed us here and then placed them there to have an example in their midst. And it is very sad that they don't see the resource that they have in front of them. If I'm graduating 100% of my students every year, and 97% are going to college, and 3% of those students are going to trade school. There's a value in what I'm doing, and how I'm doing it for urban students. I get less money than the Philadelphia School District students.
I was going to ask about that. Now you brought up a couple points that I wanted to kind of expound on a little bit. You were 10 years, you said, in the public school system.
Yes.
What school were you at, and what did you teach?
I was at 2 elementary schools, and I was an assistant to a doctor in reading. So I would teach the students, and that's why I was able to learn phonics and teach my staff the phonics. I taught at Vaux Middle School for the last 5 years in the system.
Is Vaux still around?
Vaux is still there. It's just not.
Veronica Joyner. Now, what was the experience like, introducing yourself to her?
Well, you remember I used to work at the school. It's mathematics, civics, and sciences charter school.
Right.
And periodically I would still go past there. So it was kind of a surprise to her, but it was also a surprise for me because of the young lady that was there from I think New Orleans in Texas. You became friends with her that was doing the piece of the documentary. Mm-hmm. So now I hadn't been there since COVID.
Right.
I have talked to her. It's just that some things have changed, and some of the veteran administrative and educational staff that was there when I was there, a lot of those guys are no longer there, but the school is there. The school has prospered. The school has enlarged. It's still across the street from the school district, and she was pretty happy that she saw me, and that I might be going back there just to do some volunteering or what have you, because she said she would put me to work regardless of what it was I was doing.
Oh, yeah.
But with what they do there at the school, matter of fact, a lot of the kids that had gone there before have now come back to actually work at the school. So
I actually spoke with her when we were speaking with her. She was talking about that, so I appreciate the fact that she kind of walked with the times and everything. And you don't see a lot of people doing that nowadays, acclimating themselves with the changes of times and with everything going on right now.
No.
With, the pandemic. She's really finding herself, evolving herself, within a community.
We're all going to see how this thing plays itself out, because the storm we just had, schools closed, school starts back technically for all intents and purposes this week.
Right.
And now they've mentioned that it's mandatory now for administrative personnel and also students and parents to come either masked up or vaccinated. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Well, we definitely will be, staying tuned for that and, seeing what happens in regards to that, because, times are changing right now, and, there's a lot of things that are being put into effect to ensure, the lives of billions of people.
Even with us, you had to go to that thing on House of Brotherly Love.
Correct.
And there's a couple other projects that I actually have coming up, and it looks like this is going to be in place, period. So the way things are, this is a brave new world.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to continue doing this for forever now. So.
Yeah, so now I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk about the House of Brotherly Love. So I had the pleasure with being on set with you and also being in the film with that, and that was quite the interesting take. So I do have an interview for the audience out there in regards to the interview we had while we were on set. So that was. All right, so we're doing this film right now, in the process of doing this film. How's everything going so far in regards to it?
It's quick. It's quick. He knows that he, meaning Maxwell Kane, Max Kane, I call him MK. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. This has been really funny, but at the same time, very provocative. Very provocative, very evocative. And I think a lot of people are he's beginning to stretch out, and a lot of people are beginning, in particular his parents, are beginning to figure, damn, boy got some skills.
You're on to something, right?
I'm telling you something, and I think it has, because not only because of my input into this thing, but because of yours. A lot of people didn't know what you were doing, and some of the other individuals.
Right.
I mean, we got a dude here who's professor is Mahershala Ali. Yeah, that dude. I have a movie out now playing at the Cannes Film Festival. It'll be at the Toronto International Film Festival called Ageless Love.
Check that out. Ageless Love, folks.
Been in the paper, on the radio. Who knows what might happen? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll make sure I don't go wrong. I got two black dudes. In particular, one, Joshua Coates, a friend of mine, and he was in his film Hollywood. Was the director, co-producer, and co-writer. Yale wrote this.
Yeah.
It's his life story, and he was also the executive producer. And here it was that we joined forces with Josh 2020 and Booker Time Productions. And we joined forces and got this stuff done. And now it has picked up insurmountable steam that I had no idea. I figured that we would get some, local, some regional stuff, like like before.
Yeah. This took a whole new turn.
No, and I'm gonna say that, and I wish that my parents were alive. Never nothing like this. I mean, playing at the Con, come on, man. I mean, that's the #1 place on the planet.
It's life changing when you hear stuff like that. It's kind of
I'm glad that you said that.
All right, well, now that people got the experience of what it was like on set interviewing you, so what was the experience when you were like in action, and what role did you play specifically?
For you talking about for House of Brotherly Love?
Yeah.
That was the.
I mean, I know a role, but
that was the. For those that don't know, it is a short made for Anonymous Productions and Maxwell Kane. And for those of you that don't know, maybe you'll look this up. Anonymous Productions have done some work and been in business with people like Matthew McConaughey, Samuel L. Jackson, Mahershala Ali, which, by the way, Amari that plays my son.
Big shout out to Amari, actually.
Yeah, was one of the. Mahershala is his professor, and plus they're really tight, really good friends.
Yeah.
Also, I think they've also worked with Bradley Cooper. So we got big shoes to fill, but like I said, this is done for Anonymous Productions, and you were involved.
Oh yeah.
I played the father role. I am the patriarch of a very influential, sophisticated, but very weird, dysfunctional family that has. I got a lovely wife, 2 sons, and a daughter, Jalen.
Yep.
Also, the young lady that played my daughter, Brooke, and he's finishing up. Maxwell's finishing up that piece now. It'll probably be ready for screening sometime real soon. As well as also being seen in LA. And with me working on some of the individuals that were involved, such as Brian Anthony Wilson, who you know. And for those that don't know, Brian played Detective Lieutenant Vernon Holly on The Wire.
Yeah.
He was a cast member, as well as also the young lady that played my mother-in-law, 97 years old, Miss Warren, I think is her last name. She is a veteran thespian from Broadway, and
don't forget your uncle.
Uncle Earl. Yeah.
Yep.
So and Kevin Mertz from the Milton Standard Journal also reported on this. But this is it's a combination of what I term the Purge, Get Out, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and to some extent also The Godfather and Scarface.
Right. So, Lloyd, now that you've talked about that, let's talk about the event back in August in reference to the premiere for the movie that's now in contingency for an Oscar called Ageless Love. Now, in that film, you had a role to play, and also it was about a relationship, which was kind of a interesting relationship. So, can you tell us a little bit about the movie, the roles you played with it, and how did you get yourself in a character for the role itself too as well?
Yeah, the movie Ageless Love was actually it's a true story, written by Yale Swartz, who is a friend of mine. I still say he is. He lives on in Celluloid, and about his relationship with his wife. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that Nina was 15 years his senior with 5 kids. She was widowed. And here he was in his early 20s getting married and falling in love with somebody like that. Plus he also had friends of a different racial background. I'm the producer and also play one of the characters, Count Basie.
Yeah.
In the film, the piano playing jazz man. And I remember when he called me and mentioned that he wanted me to come up to the house because he had some news to tell me.
Right.
And that's when he told me that and confided in me that he was, the doctor had given him 3 months to live. And I was taken aback. Mona,
right,
his daughter, was upstairs, and by this time he had already suffered a stroke. Not a massive stroke, but one that did leave him just slightly disabled. I think it was on the right side of his body. He had to use a walker. But I mean, he was still getting around, he was cool. But with that's how the doctors did a deep dive and found out that he was suffering from pancreatic cancer, which ironically was the same thing that Nina died from.
Wow.
His wife. So, I mean, here was a dude, Jewish guy, who actually confided in me, being a very humble and strangely handsome, black man. Got another guy, Joshua Coates, African American guy, to help him put this film together.
Big shout out to Josh. He's actually done a lot of great films.
Yeah.
A lot of great films.
Yeah. So it was a labor of love and undertaking, and it goes to prove that even in these trying times, which we've had racial virus and also viral virus around the world, but that there are some vestiges, some openings at times wherein people from different backgrounds, racial, ethnic, religious, what have you, can actually come together and in some cases love one another for the ends justifying the means for getting something done. And in this particular case, I'm talking about the movie and how that was all done and put together in such a short period of time and gotten out. And obviously it resonated enough strongly with people that it got played at the Cannes Film Festival.
Right.
It also played at the Ridgewood International Film Festival that we went to in Jersey. Shout out to everybody there.
Yeah.
It will be at the Toronto International Film Festival, and I think also screened in LA prior and before any public or private announcements in regards to the award season and all of that. But as far as I was concerned, the film is a comedy, a slight comedy.
Yeah.
But it comes across more of as a dramedy. But it's a really good film. Josh did a good job, Beth, and also Nick, Beth Caponigro, and Nick. They did a great job. They portrayed Yale and Nina Swartz.
Oh yeah, they did a great job portraying them.
And yeah, we're seeing how this whole thing plays itself out, because the competent camera person that's behind here, the young lady did point out that things were being done. It was a great job, and we'll see what happens. And she kind of she didn't see anything.
She didn't see it yet, but once it comes out, I'll be sure she sees it.
But yeah, it was a labor of love. And at the time all this was being done, he was actually going through stages of, he wanted to die at home.
Yeah.
So I actually helped him, brought him back home from the nursing home, and that's where he passed away.
Okay.
He passed away at his house.
So now,
after the film was over.
I do have a question in regards to that. Now, I was able to see the premiere. Now, when I saw one of the scenes in the premiere, was that him in the first scene, getting the treatment at home? He was still getting treatment at home while still playing the role?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he, not taking too much from the, you mean in the beginning when he came into the scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had to start using a walker.
Gotcha.
But one of the things that he did is that he kept up his energy enough that he was always able to, direct and give some help, because he wrote this whole thing. I mean, this whole thing was actually, he had wrote it and had started doing little vignettes, one-man shows.
Right.
So after he did Hollywood with Joshua Coates, he had already prior to that had done an episode of History of Philadelphia with Samuel Katz.
Right, I remember you were talking about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And he had also done a musical piece where he put on his dancing shoes called Fine Wine. And when he called me over to the house and told me what was happening, I mean, we said a little prayer. Mm-hmm. And sat down and spoke. We didn't spend that much time talking about that because I didn't feel comfortable at that particular moment, even though we had shared. But
I mean, given the circumstances.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because I've had people in my family. My mother also died of cancer.
Sorry.
So, with that being said,
yeah.
One of the things that I asked him was, what do you want to do next?
Yeah.
Knowing full well what was probably going to come out of his mouth anyhow.
Or another term, what do I do now?
Yeah, well, yeah. And he said, well, I want to make this film. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. I said, the thing is that I kind of know, where you're leaning, but
yeah.
I said, you do have a couple other choices. I said, you got your Jewish brother from another mother, Mr. Sam Katz, who did History of Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And then you have the young lady, Maria, I think her last name was Brenneman.
Right.
That did Fine Wine. And he said, let's talk about Josh. I said, okay, cool. I said, you've worked with Josh before when he was doing the thing with Eric Roberts and the other young lady, Tori Hart.
Okay. Yeah.
I was also in that as Shade. Mm-hmm. And
that's the one with Eric Roberts.
Yeah, with Eric Roberts, right. And so I said, you did all of that. You know him, you know how he works, you see how he does things. He's methodical, sometimes anal. and I hope Josh sees this in a good way. But the thing is that he said, what are the cons?
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, I mean, maybe you don't see him, but I said a couple things. I said, some people gonna think that, you know, two black guys trying to rip you off for your money. We sat down in LA.
All right, Lloyd. Now we got the acting out of the way. Let's talk about the music. What's going on with that? What's going on with that big guy? Going on there.
Yeah, there were some things that we were supposed to do.
Yep.
We're gonna see what happens with Uncle John Ellison and
Some Kind of
Wonderful. We'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, NJTV.
Oh yeah.
With
Big shouts to NJTV, by the way.
yeah, with Tom.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be getting some things together to possibly work with them, NJTV and radio, to put on some type of benefit.
Right.
I don't know when. Sometime soon. And you can get up there and do your electronic guitar prowess.
You definitely know I am.
You know, put down your Jimi Hendrix thing.
Oh yeah. Keep it on the lookout.
Yeah, and I'll see what happens with Madman and the mental problems. But here's the funny thing about that, since we're talking about the music end of this.
Yeah.
In House of Brotherly Love, which you prominently are featured. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Some of the music that Max is going to put in during that party scene comes from Joe Wallace, Joe Rizzi, Jay Rizzi, as well as I think also myself possibly, and also Marcel Bellinger.
Yeah, give a big shout out to Marcel Bellinger.
So we'll see what happens.
Phenomenal genius, music genius.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, he's not joking. Marcel played with Aretha Franklin when she was last here in Philadelphia. He's also played with Chuck Brown. Chuck Brown of the Soul Searchers, the father of Go-Go from B-More.
Yep.
Little musical thing. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
Josh said, music. What do you want to mess with music for? I was messing with that stuff before I did the film stuff, but
I remember you.
Oh yeah.
Remember, I was younger when I.
Yeah, over at the BB&T Susquehanna Bank.
Susquehanna Bank, sorry, it's BB&T.
Yeah, the BB&T Pavilion. For those of you that don't know, make sure you check out Lloyd Booker Funk, and compared to what? Yeah, you won't get charged up. You won't look at TV the same way twice after you watch that.
Check it out, folks.
But check that as well as some of the other things that we're doing. So I mean, I'm just as gassed up, man, about the music. But the only thing about that is that here in Philadelphia, and probably in your neck of the woods now, they want to make sure that everybody's been vaccinated or something before they actually come to these shows. I want to see how they do that.
It's going to be interesting. Like,
it's a brave new world.
You really got to think about it. You're catering to an audience of thousands, and you got to make sure everybody's clear. So it is, like you said, it's a whole new world.
It's a brave new world.
Going to be interesting. So today, everyday people, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank the madman, the mental problems, Lloyd Booker, for coming on board, being here today. It's always a pleasure, good sir. And also, I want to thank Julie and class for letting us lend the music for the song you're hearing in the beginning and at the end, called Brisk. You can see it on SoundCloud, I believe Apple Music, and also Spotify. So check it out. So this is Mr. G. I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I know I said that before, I'm going to say it again. I love you guys. Stay focused, stay striving, and always be better than you were the day before. This is Mr. G. Love you guys. Take care.
If you want to, knowing you want me to come through, knowing no key that I want you, I know what we gon' do. Baby, is it worth the risk? Girl, your body, I can't quit.
Alright, so now let's talk about the cut it.